Hello everyone, Baskitkase here again, bringing you another game. Went ahead and changed my deck again. Originally, I went with a completely Highlander Paladin slash CTE Cleanse the Earth deck, but as you can see, I ended up putting two Gritmaw Shamans in there. They're just so good that I want to make sure I have them immediately, and you'll see why in this video. I see that I'm against Froglore Swamp. Um, So yeah, this is a good map for him. There's some water on it. So that always makes for an interesting map against Foglar. Gets a really good deploy there with that initiative, giving him the font one turn earlier than he should have. I'm looking for a champ to send to my north font, and I don't really have one. So you can see here why I always say I don't like champions that are more than 45 Nora. Excuse me, 75 Nora. That's why you want to be able to always double deploy your champions going first turn. And if one of them's 76 and then the other ones are 75, then you can't deploy two. So as a general rule, I try to stay at 75 Nora as maximum for my champions, and I will of course include champions that are more costly than that, but I'm pretty critical of them and the amount of those in my deck. So here I'm choosing a position in my font to make sure that there's no way that he can use his lightning skewer. So I want to try to avoid that. He just equipped as a champion with an equipment. I don't know what it is, so I have to go to my combat log to figure it out what it is, but I will say you always want to be wary of pre-equipping champions with equipments that do not aid you in getting immediate kills, because it gives your opponent a chance to remove that equipment through normal deploys by deploying shattered units. And also, if they get killed before that equipment really pays for itself, then you have effectively just increased the cost of that champion, and so your loss is greater at that point. So you really want to save equipments for use when you can get kills with them or use them in a way that they assist in getting a kill. I sent my Angel north. He sent his Slipworm north. Slipworm being an awesome unit. I see that the Daredevil was melee. Bernie here is melee. So I'm going to get my Starshine unit out and see what I can do with that. Go ahead and get my font here. You can see Slipworm is way faster. He has 7 speed and Teleport 2, which Teleport 2 basically saves you 2 AP. Lets you move 6 spaces for 4, I believe, AP. So 7 speed plus Teleport 2 is basically 9 speed. Okay, so you'll see me do this a lot in my maps where I use the font as a blocking tool. It costs you an additional 3 AP to go around the font to attack me. He's already used, or he hasn't used his lightning attack yet, but I can no longer stay away from it. So if he's uses it from that top spot, then to come and attack me later with melee would take longer. And that's the only real place that he can use it from, any of those positions that are on the other side of that font. And then I will have him font block. So obviously I'm just trying to slow down the font battle. I'm not going to rush in there against his melee units when I got a lethargic shaman that I'm trying to get into the battle. So he's got that helm. It's done absolutely nothing for him yet. Excuse me, yeah, Dark Marsh helm has done nothing for him yet, except he stealthed out and made me wonder where he was. And if I wanted to attack him, of course I couldn't have. But I really didn't. I was trying to slow down this font battle, and I'll always try to bring mid-fought battles to my side. And when you only deploy melee, just like in a previous KF video versus KF video, if you only deploy melee in a mid-font battle, you're giving up control over which side of the font that you fight on, because all they have to do is deploy range. You can see here I moved into Starshine range. So now Magnus has Majestic, giving melee units Majestic 1, giving melee units Awestruck, causing their damage to be divided in half. It's going to be very good for me. So how do you counter Majestic? You counter Majestic with, of course, ranged and set damage abilities, such as the lightning ability that he already used on me. The ones that state in their log how much damage they do. Auras, dots, different things like that that have predetermined amounts of damage. And that's how you get around Majestic. So I deploy my Pontiff. I'm thinking that I want Distract from my utility ranged unit. It's my strongest range unit in this battle group. It's also an additional type of damage versus Froglar Swamp. You always got to be ready for one with Nora from Gekkel. So having a third and fourth type of damage out. I got physical, I got acid on the shaman, and now magical and fire from the Pontiff. But mostly he's there for distract. So I'm looking at what he deployed, so I'm trying to click my combat log. It doesn't open, so oh yeah, I gotta do it this way. Salaman Ninja. So just more reasons to have distract is all of these units. Salaman Ninja has flashbang. He's obviously going to be running equipments. So whatever abilities that equipments give him, if they're activatable, I'll be able to shut those down as well. Here you can see Majestic doing really good work, cutting his damage down, and then pretty much my heal, bringing up the rest. Banner in the font because that's where he headed. And then I'm just making sure that I don't block myself by terrain, so I might as well go ahead and get an attack on him. You can see me attacking at melee because he has evasives. So I'm going to be attacking at melee on him to make sure that I get the maximum damage. He's only going to survive about 4 hits of melee. So I know he's going to get in my font. There's absolutely nothing I can do or deploy to keep him from doing that. If I had an Earth God Sigil or something, maybe I could have put that on him. But the banner will keep him busy while I chase him down. I'm just going to spend this turn working to clear that bubble of protection, which I believe is a 35 hit point buffer. So it's going to require 3 attacks from me, and it's gone. So basically that gave him 1 round. And just healing up there. And I have absolutely nothing to fear from those 2 units because I have Majestic. And they are range 1. You could try to knock back my shaman out of range or something like that. Maybe pull or drown even. A little too early for drowning when he's been deploying plus equipping this entire round. So you can see he's got a Swamp Touch Amulet on Bernie, and he's going to be escalating 1 damage every turn. Bernie's also got provision defense, so he's going to have block, and he has riposte, I believe, counting spaces to the enemy font. So seeing if I can go grab it. Obviously I won't be able to. It's going to be good to have ranged against Bernie. It's going to keep him from reapplying block. And generally I'm going to need another melee unit once this one expires or dies or something like that. And I'm not exactly threat of that is not very high right now. You can see me get out my normal 3 combat 1 support ratio. My good ratio here, my beginning ratio. So I went ahead and did that just to see if I could find that Salaman. If he would have stayed in the font, stayed close, and I would have been able to kill him. So obviously he's either used enough AP to get flying, or he's not in my font. And he's not in my font, or he's not any of those spaces that I tried. So that was a bit of a waste, but Bernie's now lumbering on the other side of the font. He's font blocked, so wasn't a complete waste. I don't be able to use the hit points of that relic as a font contester while I find this Salaman Daredevil. Making making sure I don't have my pontiff in range to be receiving Starshine's Majestic. I want to make sure that he's always further away than Magnus is. I do mess that up later. I have to be careful when I go in against that slipworm as well, because I want to make sure I do not font block myself by my positioning, my own positioning, and make it very hard to track him down in the font. He can just be annoying and teleport all over my font. If I can't get to him for an attack, then I can't ever get him out. So he's going to take 3 more hits for me to kill. So that's not going to happen anytime really soon. Immediately concerning is, where is that Salaman Daredevil? I'd really prefer not to have 2 units skewered by the lightning skewer at once. I'm going to spread my guys out. And you can see me checking my my squire up there, making sure he had detection. I thought he did, and he does. So a lot of times in Paladin decks I will use Magnus, and when I do, I typically use UV for detection, because I want UV being the spell, unobstructed view, because I like to power him up. Thinking about where to go here. I don't want to font block myself, but he cannot access the back side of my the opposite side of that font really, so I'm not too worried about that, and I think his main concern is killing that banner anyways, so I'll go ahead and get that position, conserve as most AP as possible. And there's the Daredevil. Kind of doing some addition here. I would like to kill him in 4 hits, but I don't have the damage anywhere to do that, so instead we're going to kill him in 5. Obviously the concern is killing him. I could have invigorated my carrier squire and used throw shield for the finisher, but there was nothing really for my pontiff to do with that other attack besides one attack on Bernie. And you can see here I'm trying to move AP off, and I end up leaving him in a bad spot because my Starshine is on my pontiff. So this is a really good chance for him to kill Magnus right here. He's gonna have to do something special. I don't think he's got the damage to do it, but he gets a couple of chances to attack Magnus outside of Majestic, and he should have really made use of those chances. So what has he gained by his equipments that he's used so far? Not really sure. Not really sure. Just a few damage on that relic. He was able to be very forward with his Salaman by stealthing past my guys, but you can see I countered that, and it ended up leading to his premature death. He was in double attack range of 2 units, and typically that's going to mean death. Okay, so he goes ahead and gets my banner, and then he moves as far away as he can. So if I take that spot north east of him instead of the one that's southeast of him, then I would be font blocked, and he could come to that far spot on the other side of my font, and I would have to go around that middle font to get to him, wasting AP and probably not being able to attack, giving him at least 1 more turn in the font. So I'm going to be sure not to do that. He's moving his guys up. More melee Salamans. So he has this, and he's going to blind me. He he went ahead and put a bubble of protection. So with that bubble of protection and the equipment, it's now a very efficient move for me to go ahead and reset that champion. Because basically my my spell costs less than his 2 spells and equipments together. And looky there what we found. So I kind of messed this up here because I forgot about Weighty on my Carrier Squire. I haven't ever used him before, and I know what the ability is, but you can see here I kind of get boggled. So Might of Iron Fist, I always refer to it as Moeth, a really good spell to use on Magnus. The minus 10 hit points is slightly negated by the fact that he's gonna get 4 hit points from adaptive. And you can see here I don't have enough AP to grant action potion, as well as adaptive giving him 1 more damage. So instead of plus 5 damage for the turn, he's gonna have plus 6, and then he's gonna retain the 1. He's got evasives there, so I can't kill him. Can't disengage with my shaman because I don't have mobility, and he's already engaged once this turn, so you can't disengage after you've engaged in the same turn without mobility or some sort of disengaging. You see here I'm not font blanking myself, so I can go anywhere in my font now without having to worry about that middle font node being in my way. Get that 1 attack on him, so he's in my definitely in my font doing some work. So I give up this font here for a turn because I'm engaged and I failed my kill. So the only saving grace I have is that Magnus is majestic. Thank goodness. So that weighty ability coming back to haunt me messed up that turn last turn. Looks like he's gonna be putting some relics down, maybe. He's got the flashbang relic, he's got a trap he can put down. I don't have any summons in this deck, so that's not gonna do anything. But he can hurt me with that flashbang. I got a lot of cleanse too, so not a good idea of relying on disability or disabilitating abilities and spells against IS, because typically an IS user is going to run cleanse. Maybe in a construct deck, but pretty much every other deck, barbarians, dwarves, he gets a skewer off on 2 of those guys. Pretty good. Pretty much every other type of deck is going to have some cleanse in it. And I run cleanse in my constructs, simply because I think people think I don't, or think people don't. I like to always go, you know, whatever I think that people are thinking that I run or that I as people run, and pick something else. So I'm thinking about what I want to do. I can macadamize, gives me some mobility and some damage. Got lots of units here. How am I going to kill them? I really don't want to attack him with evasives because it's going to require 2 attacks. But we just need to go ahead and get him dead. One thing about Magnus is you don't want to roll up on him and leave a whole bunch of AP on your guy, because if he's got punish, he's gonna pain you for it. You can see here I'm doing some work, got a lot of damage, and also taking his AP and turning it into loss of life. I'm able to get the kill and the globe and get this kill up here. He's got regen, so I mean, all that damage harass, it's not really going to make a difference. He's going to regen that up before he gets to their font. And that's most likely what I'm going to do, and that's most likely what happens if you lose the one-on-one battle north, is you're going to have something pressuring your font afterwards. I definitely had a stronger deploy up there. And he did cost me some Nora by getting in my font, causing me to use my banner, and then killing my banner. But now what? Now he's going to have a battle up north with another champion that he's going to have to deploy, pretty much taking all of that away. Or losing the font, which would be even worse. Just kind of positioning my units away, making sure he can't come in, dive in on me and do some attacks, but you can see here I failed to get Majestic on Magnus, and he's got quite a few champions in the area, and that's going to cost me. Already planning how I'm going to heal him next round. And I did deploy Eowyn because Eowyn can heal him, and Eowyn also can replace him if he dies. Well, that's kind of why I chose him. Eowyn's a great support unit as well with Battlemaster. Typically IS is going to have AoE type benefit in their decks, and the longer the match drags on, the more powerful the units are going to be in general. So this is the only time that I've seen him thus far deploy an equipment and get some use out of it. That equipment allowed him to gain multi-attack, which allowed him to have a second attack. He didn't need the heals or anything like that, but he did get 2 attacks off with multi-attack. So he's got definitely got Magnus down in the kill range. Magnus has boosted himself up high enough that you know, you want to do something. Get this kill right now, because obviously I've noticed my mistake, and I'm going to correct that and make sure that he is in Starshine range for Majestic. You see a little bit of a pathing error here, but I just kind of waited it out, fixed it. We're going to heal him back up now. And this is a good example of why I use heal rank 2, is because it allows me to apply my second heal when a turn before you would be able to apply the second heal on rank 3. So effectively giving me more immediate hit points the turn before, same amount of hit points over time. It also allows me to spread those heals out between champions a little bit more frequently. So definitely try heal rank 2 if you have the option. Just kind of getting in range here. I know what I want to do. Definitely want to kill the Salaman, and I'm gonna get that kill. You can see the extra 2 damage because Magnus is branding them. So anytime in a paladin or priest attacks a branded unit, they get an extra 2 damage. So you can see that extra damage going on all the units that Magnus attacks. He's my only brand unit out right now. I'm just going to spread my units out, and I want to make sure Eowyn gets up there so that Magnus is covered by Battlemaster to get the extra defense. You can see right there he is, and there's that extra defense, so he's up to 3. Give him the best possible chance to survive another round. I'm going to go ahead and move him, start him towards enemy font, at least force a deploy and figure out if I want to fight whatever he deploys. If I don't, I run away. And then I love casting spells right at the end. So whatever calculations he was doing to kill Magnus, he now has to redo those calculations. Magnus was healed for 5, he was cleansed, and he got plus 4 hit points from casting in a spell through his adaptive ability. His adaptive Iron Fist. So I'm in a pretty good spot. You can see I have 6 champions. He's got 2 in the immediate vicinity. What's he gonna do? I've presented him with a situation where his only choices are bad choices, because he moves away here, he gets around Majestic with his Arc Blade ability, which is a really good move, but he has to waste AP to engage, so there was some loss of utility in spending that AP to disengage. And of course Bernie here having his damage reduced by Majestic. Magnus very close to death now. It'd be really good to go ahead and spell him and get that damage if you have a spell that can overcome the IS faction bonus and still get the damage, or loss of life type thing, knockback spell, different things like that. Some way to cause other than direct spell damage, or enough spell damage to get the kill. Maybe an equipment there that was offensively related. And I didn't pay attention that he quit burning, giving him unstoppable. I'd already planned this attacks that I was doing here, and they included stun and knockback damage, which were both negated. So you can see the power of making or using spells and equipments at the end of the turn, and then me just going forward with my calculations. But I have enough units now that I can correct that mistake by just applying more damage, which I do here. And learned my lesson, and I'm going to keep him in range of Majestic there. Also putting down the Desperate Heal. No reason not to at this point. I have him considerably outchamped. I can kill anything in the font. I can kill anything that's in range every turn, and I'm going to start moving forward to his font now. These two units have absolutely no chance against those 6 units with all their sustain and hindrance through distract. So you're going to be basic attacks only. It's going to be very, very difficult. This is the wrap-up phase. The game's pretty much won a couple of turns ago when he didn't kill Magnus. Probably way before that, but at least at that point. Another melee unit. He's determined to deploy melee units in the face of persistent Majestic. Why do I move Eowyn up? Because I'm about to give him charge. So the coolest thing about the Attendant is he can cast Attendant on a Paladin, gives him +3 damage, and charge 3, which gives him another +3 damage. So there's a surprise 6 damage. Another attack in the same turn, so surprise 9 damage. Sapped all your AP out, plus some damage from being branded. I mean, just an incredible amount of damage. You had to be pretty tough or have physical resistance to survive that last attack. And if I would have needed to, I could have started attacking with Pontiff and, you know, bring Eowyn in there, etc., etc. And I'm building up a bank of Nora now that I can deploy units and spell spam. Without much impunity. Counting squares here, trying to get distract on that unit so that it cannot arc blade me. Getting in range here, I do have the AP to do it. But the game's going to end before I get a chance. No. Okay, well, there's another game. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to be bringing you new games. I'm trying to change up my deck a lot. There's not a lot of IS videos out there, so I kind of want to show you guys a bunch of different looks. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next video.